What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, and I would love to wish everyone out there a happy football day as the NFL is officially kicking off this season tonight with the Falcons taking on the Eagles, and thus beginning the start of my prediction series. This is something I have done in years past, although I don't think I finished it last year. It was kind of when I was taking a break from YouTube. But we are back with it this year, so what I do is I go through on Madden and force a win every single week to the team that I think is going to win. That way, at the end of the year, we can see just how right and how wrong I was with my prediction for every team on a week-to-week basis. We'll also go through each week and see how many I got right and wrong. I'd have a good time with it, but with the season kicking off tonight, we got to get into this video. And again, first game, Falcons taking on the Eagles. It should be a great game. Eagles obviously winning the Super Bowl last year, but the Falcons, with a few different play calls, might have won the Super Bowl the year before. This is a very good team. Now, they did take a little bit of a step back last year. They lost Shanahan. Their offense took a hit, which was to be expected. But I look at it and I'm like, man, after taking a little bit of a step back, I imagine they're going to go back to the drawing board, see what was working great for them the year before, and start working to get back to that level, and I think they could. They have all the pieces in place on this offense to be a great team. Matt Ryan at quarterback, obviously Julio Jones. They drafted Calvin Ridley. They got Coleman. They got Freeman. They also have Mohamed Sanu. A lot of weapons for this Falcons team, and I could definitely see them coming out of the gate strong tonight, but it's not going to be easy. The Eagles with one of the best defenses in the NFL. And as I look at this game, my head says the Eagles are going to win. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. They're at home. They have an elite defense. But I also look at the fact that they're not going to have Carson Wentz. They're not going to have Alshon Jeffrey. Jay Ajayi, last I saw, is questionable. I think he might play, but I am unsure on that. But, you know, they've proven they can win without Wentz. We saw, but with Nick Foles, it seems to be a little bit hit and miss. Some games he comes out and looks like a great quarterback. And then there's some other games where he comes out and he kind of struggles a little bit. So it really depends which Nick Foles is going to show up. I think he'll probably play pretty well tonight. But I'm actually, despite my head saying Eagles, I'm actually going to go with the Falcons here. And it's a gut. It's a gut feeling. I don't know why. I get it. The Eagles should win, but the Falcons have a ton of firepower, and I'm going to go ahead and take them here. You know, despite them being the defending Super Bowl champs, the defending Super Bowl champs do not always win week one, and I think the Falcons might be able to pull it out. That doesn't say anything against the Eagles. I think once they get Wentz back, once Alshon Jeffrey's back, once Jay Ajayi's back, they're really going to be one of the best teams in the NFL once again. But for tonight, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the Falcons. Two players I would love to see in this game, or I'm going to see them, but I'm excited to see in this game. Corey Clement for the Eagles. You know, he kind of had a breakout game in the Super Bowl. I know he showed flashes throughout the season, but the Super Bowl was the best game of his career so far. And you look at that, and I'm wondering if what we saw in the Super Bowl is an indication of the player that he is going to be, or if he's one of those guys that kind of steps up in a big moment and then just kind of fades away again. We kind of saw that with Tyree for the Giants. We saw it with Malcolm Smith for the Seahawks. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with Corey Clement. I'm saying I'm excited to see what we get from him this year. Is he going to have that breakout performance and just keep his foot on the gas and become a great player? Or is he going to kind of fall back down to the norm, be an average player, maybe a little above average? But I'm interested to see that. For the Falcons, the player I am most looking forward to seeing is Calvin Ridley. I am not super high on Calvin Ridley coming out of the draft, but that was for a few different reasons. One, I kind of like the potential of other receivers better, but I look at Calvin Ridley, and he ended up in a pretty much perfect situation going to the Falcons. He's got one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL on the opposite side of him, so he's going to have pressure taken off that way. He's got a really good vet wide receiver there, too, in Mohamed Sanu. They got a good tight end in Hooper. They got a great running game and a good quarterback. So, I mean, I look at this, and it is pretty much set up for him to have very little pressure on him. I can't see defenses throwing a lot of focus his way, and I can see him having a great rookie season. I'm really looking forward to that. But, yeah, going to go with the Falcons here. Next game, Ravens and the Bills. And this is a pretty easy pick for me. I am going to go with the Ravens here, forcing the home win. I really love the direction the Bills are heading in. I just do not think they are there yet. I think it's going to take some time. You're going to have Peterman going on the road, and I think Peterman will be better than the game he played last year, obviously. But it's still a tough situation. They have a lot of question marks on that offensive line, question marks at receiver. So I think the Ravens are going to take this. The two players I am looking forward to seeing in this matchup, Joe Flacco. He really struggled last year, comparatively anyway. He didn't really have the best season, and they really brought in a whole new receiving core, you know, Willie Snead, Brown, Crabtree, and it's going to be interesting to see how all of those guys mesh together. I expect Flacco to play a little bit better than this season. He's also got added pressure with Lamar Jackson waiting. But I think he is going to play better. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. For the Bills, the player I am most looking forward to seeing is Zay Jones. He was really starting to come along towards the end of the year last season, and then he had that wild off season. So apparently he is supposed to be playing week 1. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And if he's going to break out this season, or if he kind of has too much else going on and doesn't really live up to his draft selection. But those are the two players ultimately going with the Ravens in this game. Jags and Giants up next. I am going with the Jags here, but this is actually going to be a closer game in my mind than I think other people might think. And I could be way wrong. It could end up being a blowout. But I think the Giants are a lot better than what they showed last year. The team clearly quit on the coach. They bring in a new coach. They had a lot of talent. They were injured last year. They're healthier right now. Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley, a lot of firepower on this offense. Eli Manning, of course, is going to have to step up. And it'll be interesting to see how that offensive line does. They tried to improve that a little bit. So I think the Giants are a lot better than where they were last season. But the Jags obviously have a killer defense. They did lose some weapons on offense. Allen Robinson wasn't really a factor for them last year. They did lose Allen Hurns, though. But I have faith in their young receivers, actually. And I don't have a ton of faith in Blake Bortles, but I still think the Jags will probably take this game. But I could see a scenario where the Giants win. Two players I'm looking forward to watching in this game. Keelan Cole for the Jags again. I really liked some of these young receivers. I am anticipating somewhat of a breakout season for him. For the Giants, I'm really excited to watch Saquon Barkley, obviously. Very exciting back. And another weapon for that Giants offense. So those are the two players there. Bucks and the Saints. And this one, I am going with the Saints pretty easily. They're at home. And that Bucks team just hasn't really lived up to what they should, in my opinion anyway. I don't really see this one being very close. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Bucks pull an upset, but I think the Saints take this one pretty easily. The players I'm looking forward to watching for the Bucks, Jameis Winston. Is he going to step up this season and be that franchise quarterback, or is he kind of going to struggle again? He's in a situation where he should be having more success than he has. He's got Mike Evans at wide receiver, a very good player. He's got Deshaun Jackson. They brought in that tight end last year, so O.J. Howard. So, I mean, the weapons are there. He's just got to make it happen. I don't really have a lot of faith in him as a leader either, but I think this is really a make-or-break year for him. I don't think the Bucks are going to give up on him if this year doesn't go his way, but I think this year is going to tell a lot about the future for his career. And it's going to be interesting to follow. So that's going to be my pick for the Bucks. For the Saints, I'm going to go with Cameron Meredith with an honorable mention to Traquan Smith. Two receivers. Meredith kind of showed a lot of potential for a little bit. And then the injuries happened. And I think, you know, you give him a quarterback like Drew Brees, I can see him breaking out. Traquan Smith, obviously a rookie, another guy to keep an eye on. Drew Brees can make wide receivers play well past their talent level. And I think both of these guys have talent, so I think it's going to be interesting to watch what Drew Brees can do with them. Next game, Texans and the Patriots. And I am going to go with the Patriots here. They are at home, and obviously it's Tom Brady, it's Belichick. I mean, we've seen them lose games like last year in the opener. I believe they lost to the Chiefs, so they can definitely lose an opener game. Going up against the Texans have a lot of talent, but there are some question marks. How is Watson going to look returning from injury? You know, players return from this injury all the time. It really shouldn't affect them much, but that's still a long time to be away from football, especially if you're a rookie. Having that on-field experience is key, and he really missed out on a lot of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that does, which brings us to our players I'm excited to look at. And again, it's going to be Watson. How's he going to return from the injury? I'm excited to see. And then, of course, for the Patriots, it's going to be Tom Brady. Is he going to continue to beat Father Time, or is he going to start to slow down a little bit this year? That's an intriguing storyline for me. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady there. 49ers and the Vikings. And this is another pretty easy one. I'm going to go with the Vikings here. This would have been a really tough game for the 49ers regardless. The Vikings have a great defense. They brought in Kirk Cousins. They have a lot of playmakers on offense. This was always going to be a very tough matchup for the 49ers. But then you remove Reuben Foster from the equation, and I just don't see it happening. The 49ers don't have a lot of pass rush. They had one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL last year, and they really didn't do a lot to address that this offseason. They are really counting on the progression from players like Buckner, Armstead, and, of course, Solomon Thomas. And maybe they're going to get that this year, but to this point, those guys haven't proven they can rack up sacks. And so without that pressure, I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a pretty great day. No Reuben Foster to worry about. I think the Vikings take this. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon out for the 49ers too, so I think Vikings take this one pretty easily. Two players I'm looking forward to seeing. Kirk Cousins, of course. You know, the biggest name moving in free agency, thrown into a great situation. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with it. You know, he has a great receiving duo, a great running game, and a great defense backing him up. And with all those things in place, he really should be able to take this team far. But it's going to be interesting to see if he has some chemistry issues early on and how that all plays out. For the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, you know, he looked great last year, obviously. 5-0 as a starter, but can he continue? He's going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL on the road. It's going to be a very difficult situation for him. He lost his starting running back, and you know there's pressure this year. There's pressure this year after signing the contract, being a day one starter, week one. So it's going to be interesting to see. But those are the two players I'm looking forward to in that one. Titans and Dolphins, and I'm going to go with the Titans here. This one's kind of interesting, though. I think the Dolphins are probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. Certainly a bottom 5 team as far as talent goes for me. They lost Jarvis Landry. They lost Sue. But Marcus Mariota really did not look good last year. I believe he had more interceptions than touchdowns. So that's an interesting thing to follow. Ultimately, I think the Titans still have more talent. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Titans here. Two players I'm looking forward to watching. Mariota. Again, it's kind of the same thing as Winston. I think you're really going to find out a lot about him this year. Is he going to be their franchise quarterback moving forward, or is he going to come out and kind of struggle and be an average, maybe even a below average starting quarterback in the NFL? And again, much like Winston, I don't think if he struggles this year, the Titans are going to give up on him just yet, but I think it'll be pretty telling if he struggles this year, what kind of future he might have. So players to watch, Mariota, obviously. And for the Dolphins, I'm going to go with Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously a rookie. Very excited to see what he can do with that team. Next game, Bengals and the Colts. Going to go with the Bengals on the road here. Colts getting Andrew Luck back. This could certainly change things, but without Andrew Luck, I look at this roster, and it is one of the worst teams in the NFL. If Andrew Luck comes back and he is fully healthy and he is playing like he has shown he can before, he can still take this team places. But until I see that happen, I'm going to bet on the Bengals. And I don't know, the Bengals are one of those teams, they're kind of there. You know, they're not really playing well enough to make the playoffs. They're not doing bad enough to really get a top pick. There's not a whole lot of young talent on this team that I'm super excited about. They have some promising younger players, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how many like superstar guys in the making I see currently They do have a lot of good players, though. I think they are more well-rounded than the Colts right now. That's why I'm going to go with them. Players I'm excited to see, Jesse Bates, the rookie safety for the Bengals. And then, again, for the Colts, Andrew Luck. I want to see how he comes back from that injury. Steelers and Browns. This is a tough one for me. The Steelers should win. I know the Steelers should win. And my head tells me the Steelers are going to win. But I'm going to go with the Browns. And I don't know why. Like, I should know why I'm picking the Browns here. I really don't. I think they're due for a win. They're going to be at home. The Steelers aren't going to have Le'Veon Bell. They have that whole distraction going on. I don't know, man. My head tells me it should be the Steelers, but again, kind of like that first Falcons-Eagles game, my gut is telling me go with the Browns here. I'm going to go with the Browns. We'll see what happens. They added a lot of talent this year. I am not as sold on the Browns as everybody else is. I don't think they're going to be as good throughout the season as everybody else does, but just have a weird feeling they have a chance this week. We'll see what happens. I know the Steelers are more talented. The Steelers should win. The Steelers beat the Browns frequently. But I'm going to go with the Browns here. Players I'm looking forward to watching. Connor for the Steelers. How is he going to do filling in for no Le'Veon Bell? And then Myles Garrett for the Browns. Had a solid rookie season, but I'm really expecting him to step out as an absolutely elite pass rusher this season. So I'm really excited to see what he can do there. Chiefs and the Chargers. And I'm going to go with the Chargers at home for this one. The Chiefs obviously bringing in Patrick Mahomes. They brought him in last year, but he's going to be starting this season. And I just don't have as much faith in Mahomes as everybody else does right now. I think he could potentially have a very bright future. He has a ton of potential, but I don't know that he is that player right now. And I think the inexperience is going to cost him a little bit. I heard he struggled at times throughout training camp. And I'm going to go with the Chargers in this one. Players I'm excited to see. Mahomes, I want to see how he does. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. He's certainly capable of it. Like I said, he has the talent. I just think it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle, but I am still excited to see him. And for the Chargers, Derwin James, who I'm not even sure if he's actually going to be starting for them right now, but I think they're going to find ways to get him on the field, and I'd like to see what he can do there. Seahawks and Broncos. And I am going to go with the Seahawks here. I probably shouldn't. Again, this is one of those where if I'm thinking about it, it probably should be the Broncos. But upsets happen in the NFL. That's why I'm going to have a few of them in here. I don't know if the Seahawks over the Broncos is considered an upset by a lot of people. It's certainly, I could understand an argument. The Broncos didn't do well last year. They did bring in Case Keenum. They got Bradley Chubb. They have a lot of talent there. But you know, Russell Wilson is just an elite quarterback to me. Very good player. They have some question marks. They did lose a lot of players as well, but I still am just thinking the Seahawks might find a way to win this. Even when they don't, they shouldn't win games. Sometimes the Seahawks have been able to find ways to win in the past. I want to go with the Seahawks here on the road. Two players I'm looking forward to seeing. Bradley Chubb for the Broncos. Excited to see what he can do. And then Shaquem Griffin, who is going to be starting for the Seahawks. Great storyline. I want to see how he plays. Cowboys and the Panthers. I am going to go with the Panthers at home. I think they're a better team than the Cowboys. It's going to be interesting to see if the Panthers take a step back this year. Cowboys have some injuries going on. I don't have a lot of faith in Dak Prescott either. And Panthers being at home certainly helps. I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one. Should be a good game, though. Players I'm excited to see. Devin Funchess for the Panthers. I want to see if he's going to take that next step as a wide receiver. And then Allen Hurns going over to the Cowboys. How's he going to do filling in for Dez Bryant in a new role with a new team? I say new role. He's going to be, you know, he was obviously featured heavily with Jacksonville too. But I'm excited to see how that plays out for him. Redskins and Cardinals, going to go with the Cardinals, I think. I don't know, man. This is a tough one for me. I think I'm going to take the Cardinals, though. I think people are sleeping on the Cardinals right now. I really do. And a few years ago, the first year I did this, I thought highly of the Cardinals, and they lost all the time, and I was so wrong about them. They were one of the teams I was the most wrong about. And I could certainly be very wrong about them again this year. I don't know. Maybe I should. No, I'm changing it. I'm going Redskins. I'm changing my mind. I do think people are sleeping on the Cardinals, but Redskins have some talent too, man. They have a very good defense. In fact, I think they have the potential to really take the next step defensively. Gosh, this is a tough game for me to pick. I'm going to go with the Redskins here, but it should be a very good game, man. Should be a good game. Players I'm looking forward to seeing: Daron Payne. Like I was just saying, I really think this Redskins team could take their defense to another level, which they played pretty great last year too. They bring over Alex Smith. He's not going to be turning the ball over much at all, and he's going to use those weapons in a way that suits his game. And they do have some weapons for him to work with, so I think the Redskins, I'm going to go with the Redskins here. Players I'm excited for, or player I'm most looking forward to seeing for the Cardinals: David Johnson. How's he going to return from that injury? Excited to see what he can do. Bears and Packers. And this one going to go with the... This is another one, man. I had an idea of what I was going to do for a lot of these games, but not all of them. I kind of like doing these spur of the moment, so it's kind of my initial reaction to it. And I'm struggling with this one as well, because I get it. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers. Do not bet against Aaron Rodgers. You know, the Bears have Trubisky. Aaron Rodgers or Trubisky? Who are you going to go with? Aaron Rodgers. Quarterbacks win in this league. Great quarterbacks do. And Aaron Rodgers is absolutely a great quarterback. I look at the rest of that team, though. I don't know. And I look over at the Bears roster, and they brought in weapons galore for Trubisky to work with. Then they bring over Khalil Mack to help get pass rush going on. I'm going to take a flyer here and go with the Bears. I don't know. It should be the Packers, and I'm taking more upsets than I thought I would be. I'm not going to lie, and it's probably going to backfire, but I'm going to take the Bears in the shocker there. Next game, Jets and the Lions. Going to go with the Lions here. Jets, again, one of the bottom 5 rosters in the NFL in my mind, so... Their coach is very good. He got them to play above their talent level, in my opinion, last year, and it's certainly possible he does the same thing with them this year, but I think the Lions are too good for that right now. They've got a lot of vets. Obviously, Stafford, they got weapons for him. Don't know that I trust the Lions' defense a whole lot. I'm more down on them than most, though. I probably should. Obviously, Darius Slay's a great player. The running game is going to be interesting. They tried upgrading that offensive line, and they bring over Blunt. They got Kerryon Johnson, so going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I'm going to go with the Lions here. Players I am excited to watch in this one: Kenny Golladay for the Lions. Really came out of the gate strong last season, kind of slowed down. I'm going to be interested to see if he's going to take that next step as a wide receiver. And then Sam Darnold for the Jets. Obviously, rookie quarterback, you always want to see how they play. So I'm going to go with him. Rams and the Raiders, the final game of Week 1. And I am going to go with the Rams in this one. And I don't think it'll be super close. Obviously, the Rams just brought in a ton of talent this offseason. And I think they're good to go. Raiders just traded Khalil Mack. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Raiders right now, but I think the Rams are going to take this one. Players I'm excited to see: Derek Carr, again, kind of like Winston, kind of like Mariota. He's definitely been better than those two, don't get me wrong, but is he going to take that next step as a quarterback? That's what I want to know. I want to see if it happens this season. And for the Rams, player I am looking forward to seeing, probably going to be Brandon Cooks, I think. There's a lot of new guys, a lot of players I could choose here, but I want to see what Brandon Cooks does. He's had Drew Brees as a quarterback. He's had Tom Brady as a quarterback. And while Jared Goff looked a lot better last season, he is no Drew Brees and he is no Tom Brady. How is Cooks going to do playing with a quarterback that is not absolutely elite? That's going to be my big question there. So let's go ahead and force all of these wins. These are my Week 1 predictions. I don't know that every prediction video is going to be this long. I kind of went a little bit more into it with it being Week 1 and all. But I'm excited for some football tonight, guys. I hope y'all are. Let me know what you think about my predictions. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions, guys. But I appreciate y'all watching this video. I hope y'all have a great day and a great night tonight for football. And I will catch you guys next time. Later.